Shai Franklin is a partner with Gotham Government Relations, an international law firm, and joins me live now from New York. Shai, good to talk to you. We've got very little to go on at this stage, but what do you think is going on behind the scenes with this very public and quite swift exchange of action and words?
This is a little boys' club, really. You know, we have so few people that are close to Putin now who are still in his circle, who are brave enough to be in his circle, and so there's a competition between Prigozhin and Shoigu, the defense minister, and Gerasimov, who's really the general in charge, and then also Kadyrov, who is in charge of Chechnya and has his own group of military forces that he said he would bring in to take over if Prigozhin left. It's a lot of posturing. It's very performative, and in a sense, it's a microcosm for the entire invasion over the last year plus. Prigozhin said that they've sustained unnecessary losses as a result of some bureaucratic snafu. Well, you could make an argument that every death of every soldier and every civilian since last February 24th is in fact an unnecessary loss. This is a war of choice, and it's not well coordinated. Prigozhin is presumably fighting under the Russian flag, but he is saying that what he's going to do, not that he's going to take orders to stay or to go, but he's deciding that he's going to leave May 10th. So what is actually going on is that we know tens of thousands of Russian soldiers have died. Many of them have been really pushed forward by Prigozhin into the front lines as cannon fodder. And now he's blaming that on Shoigu, as though Prigozhin is some humanitarian who cares about these poor convicts who've been pressed into service.
I mean, you might argue, of course, that a military unit that starts to run out of ammunition isn't doing its job very professionally. I mean, there's plenty of ways that these three, Gerasimov, Shoigu, and Prigozhin, can snipe at each other. What does it tell us about Russian Central Command? What does it tell us about the Kremlin's control on the whole campaign?
I think you've cleverly answered your own question. There really is no coordination. There is not a good strategy. The professionals are not running the show. None of these people are professionals. To the extent that Putin has professional training, it's in spying and having informants, and that's what we're seeing now. Is a lot of this palace intrigue. But on the front lines, Bakhmut also is not strategically critical for Russia to maintain control of Donbass. But they just keep sinking more and more into it. And because Prigozhin is there, because his forces, Wagner forces, are in Bakhmut, he doesn't want to be seen as losing Bakhmut. So he's sort of covering his bases now by saying, if we lose, it's not my fault. And but the fact is, if there were some central command that were really running the show here strategically, they would have pulled out of Bakhmut 3 months ago. It's just they're literally bleeding. And also Russia, as much as they have some relationship with China, China is not selling Russia new shells. They're not selling Russia military equipment at this point. And Russia is running out. Their supply chain is backed up. Their logistics are backed up. They aren't able to get stuff up to the front lines. And yes, they're holding a lot of these artillery shells in reserve for what they fear is going to be a tremendous and well-coordinated Ukrainian counteroffensive backed by most of the West.
Shai, good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed for joining us here on TRT World.